Have you ever felt frustrated, overwhelmed, or stuck wasting time in admin instead of growing, leveraging, and scaling your business? Then this podcast is for you. Welcome to Delegate to Elevate, the podcast that's all about handing off what you don't need to do so you can focus on what you do best. So here's your host, Bonnie Schutz.
Welcome back to Delegate to Elevate, Get Done. I'm your host, Bonnie Schutz. Thanks for tuning in again. Today's guest I have brought to you, her name is Brandi Croghan. She is the founder of the What If Collective and the creator of the What If Mindset. With over 20 years of experience across pharmaceutical sales, learning and development, and organizational transformation, she designs immersive, science-backed experiences that help leaders and teams think bigger, collaborate better, and build cultures of trust and belonging. Brandi is a certified ATD master trainer, a licensed insights discovery facilitator, and holds a change management certification from Cornell. Welcome, Brandi.
Wow, thank you, Bonnie. It's so good to be here, and thank you for that lovely introduction.
We had such a great pre-recording chat that I just said, let's hit record and let's go.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So Brandi and I were introduced by another podcaster that I was a guest on her podcast, and I can't remember for the life of me the name of the podcast, Life at 45 or something at 45, but it was all about menopause. Oh my gosh. I hear now that Brandi was on the show as well.
And I was on the show, and I loved every second of it. But what I realized is there's so many things that tie together, right, Bonnie? It's like I find myself, what am I doing? I'm on this menopause show, but it's the connection of us as people and humans and our collective experiences. And we always say you just connect with somebody over something, and not that you want to wish misery or pain on anybody, but when somebody else is going through exactly what you're going through, it's just this moment of connection.
Camaraderie, yes.
And it can happen about anything. So menopause,
commiseration partner, yeah. Well, I also love that you have this what if mindset, and my head's popping all over the place, and I would love to dig into the what ifs around delegation, obviously.
Yeah.
Tell me about where you were before you started this and what you're doing now and where you plan to go with the business or with your speaking and all that.
Oh, wow. Well, Bonnie, I like to say that I was born and raised in the commercial side of the pharmaceutical business. So sales training. And I got my first sales training job. I was downsized from the pharmaceutical industry in 2009, 2010. So for those of us that remember that time in the US, there was a big downturn in the economy, tons of people looking for jobs. I found myself not able to find a job, and I found one at Estee Lauder Companies, and they brought me on as a trainer for one of their hair brands called Bumble and Bumble. For anybody who's a hair product junkie or just loves it. So it was based in Meatpacking District in New York, and that's how I started training. And what I will say is that it changed that moment, right? And we always think about, there's this phrase I love, is that the universe is always working in our favor. So we have something bad that happens, but when we see the grand scheme of it, this was always just working in my favor, always. And so that moment changed the trajectory of my career path, because I was introduced for the first time into training. And so I was product training on hair products, traveling with editorial stylists around the Midwest part of the country. And they were styling hair while I was training on the products to hairdressers. And it was fun, right? It was so fun, so fast paced. But what I saw in that job was that when you empower people with knowledge, and not just about the product, right, but about how they relate to each other, how, as a hairdresser, are you connecting to your client about what they really need? Are you talking about what they need? Are you understanding, or are you just going through the motions? And so that's not just with hairdressing, that's with everything, right? Are we just going through the motions? Are we too tired to have that conversation and we just want to check the boxes? But when
Right.
I would see people light up about the way they did their business, the way they could connect to their clients and ultimately make more money, right? It was this moment for me where I just lit up by
Aw.
being in front of a room and seeing people say, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can change the trajectory of my path, of my career by engaging, by connecting. And so I just knew that I needed to do this as a living, as a calling, right? And so I came
Yes.
back into pharmaceutical sales. I became a sales trainer for pharmaceutical, but that perspective of having, to me, having various perspectives, there's so many of us,
Yeah.
and I did it. I walked through life with, you have one perspective. You sit in your silo, you have
Yeah.
your group of people that you relate to, that you take advice from. And when you take into account or walk in shoes of different perspectives of people that you just never thought you would get advice from, never thought you would
Right.
ask a question to, it literally changes everything, and it elevates you as a human being to just get those different perspectives. So when I came in
Love it.
to pharmaceuticals again, and this time I really wanted to pursue a training avenue and I wanted to grow in that space, I wanted to bring that lens of, wow, let's not operate just in this box that we have. And the pharmaceutical industry is really regulated. We can't get
Sure.
around that. So there's
Yeah.
parameters like a lot of industries, but you can bring that connection. You can bring that sense of belonging. You can bring that sense of, if I'm a high performer and I want to go out and be the best person I can be, the best salesperson I can be, the best manager, leader I can be, then how do I do that and stay true to who I am and my core values? So kind of my why became, is where are you, where do you want to be, and how can I help get you there? And so that's really how I operate. And so as I grew in the space, I did training, and then I had the opportunity to shift a bit and get into a more broad learning and development, a more global role with a pharmaceutical company that I was been with for almost about the past decade before I started with the What If Collective and went out on my own. But with that organization, I was able to work globally and work on the diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging strategy. I was able to work with employee engagement. And so it culminated in me this moment of what if, when I was again downsized and displaced.
Yes. I like
Downsized and
there.
displaced. And it's been almost a year since the What If Collective was born, but there was a
Okay.
moment where I was actually listening to a podcast with an interview with Bobbi Brown, the makeup artist.
Yeah.
And she was talking about and this was probably 3 years ago now, but she was talking about what if, right? I'm in my 60s. I built an empire. I built a beauty empire. But what if I do something new? And by the way, I love Jones Road Beauty, which is her other line. And so I'm just plugging away for all my things I love, right? But I was listening to her talk about that. And a few years ago, it's like it took root in me, this idea of, yeah, what if, right? We live in this, we say this all the time. And so when I found myself about a year ago facing, do I keep going in this corporate path, or what if I build something of my own? What if I bet on myself this time? What happens? And it started growing. And it was funny because I had a little bit of a runway before I left my corporate job. And essentially I was kind of almost doing a little bit of consulting inside of there. So I would have leaders call and they would say, hey, we're having an offsite. Can you come do this meeting for us, right? Can you come facilitate? Can you come run the workshop or come share with us, do a keynote? And so I was doing that. And when I was telling them, oh, I'm leaving the organization, I won't be here. Because I continued to get requests like, hey, in the summer, we're doing this meeting. Could you come? And I said, well, I'd love to, but if you want to pay me as a consultant, I guess you can, but I won't be with the organization. And they just kept saying, yes,
Do it.
Sure, we'll do it. And I thought, well, what if this is the moment? So we did it. And that's how it was born. That's how I got here. And then over the past year, the what if mindset was something that for me, it was it was really just born out of almost living it in the moment
Yeah.
of,
Right.
these places we come to in our life of intersections of change and heartache and grief and happiness. And you get in these moments where you can stay stuck, or you can look at it and say, what if this is actually a possibility? What if this is
Mhm.
not freezing me, right? Like and I have the
Yeah.
tendency to do it is freeze when I'm
Yeah.
scared and I just want to
Yep.
hunker in. But instead of doing that, why not spread my wings a little? So that's it. That's
I
kind of
love
it in a
that. No, I
nutshell of
love
how I'm
that's
here.
amazing. I'm like, sign me up. What if I signed up?
Amazing.
Now, I have your little 5 core pillars here to my side, and I
Yes.
love these in when it comes to delegation. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, I can read them, but, connection over isolation, and I think that plays a lot to delegation or outsourcing parts of your business to others.
100%.
First, make that connection with this person that you're giving a part of you to essentially in
Mm-hmm.
your business to represent you better. Am I like nailing kind of what that is? What if you seek out other perspectives instead of assuming I know? Ooh, love that. You know?
Yeah, how powerful is that? Listen, there's a lot of research out there about belief, right? And
Yeah.
as humans, we have our belief system, and it's very difficult for us to question that what we believe we know, because it's
Yeah.
so contrary. But
Sure.
having that intentionality. So although this is right, it seems, wow, what if, right? We were talking about this before we start
Yeah.
recording. It's not some new groundbreaking thing where you're like, oh
No, it's
man,
been
I've never
around.
heard of this before. But it's the intentionality behind honing in on that perspective taking. And what if I sought a perspective out of somebody that I normally wouldn't go to, and
Yeah,
maybe that person isn't even an expert, but maybe
sure.
their perspective is fresh and new, and they have something that you can glean or learn from or teach you
Sure.
or shift your perspective.
Yeah.
So especially when we talk about getting done, we talk
Yeah.
about delegating, and because it's so hard for us to let go of the
Oh,
things that we feel like
yeah.
we own. Or as a leader, I have to know everything, I have to have all the
I have to have
answers.
my hands in everything. Yeah.
And what if I don't have to do that? What if I seek that
Yeah.
perspective out, and
Preach.
it shifts me? So
Yeah.
these questions, I mean, you can sit with each one of these, and this is what I love about this, is that you can sit with all of them, you can sit with one of them, and it's really meant, the what if mindset is trajectory changing. It changes the trajectory of
Absolutely. Let me
everything if
read
you
the
let it.
others so that everybody knows,
Mm,
I'm going to encourage them to look at your website, but I'm also going to read it here. So the first one I read was connection over isolation. Totally get that. Possibility over limitation. Yes. Belonging before performance, flex over freeze, and commitment over fear. Those
mhm.
play so well into helping bring others into your business, into your work, into your life. That I just like am having my own like epiphanies here, just reading
Yeah.
that. It's amazing because, well, let me ask you this. Since you started your business or this movement a year ago, have you been able to outsource anything in your business, like your website or your social media or anything that yet?
Yeah, you know what? It's like a work in progress, Bonnie, right? And
Okay.
I'm so excited about where this journey is gonna lead. And the what if mindset, of course, I worked on it. It took me most of last year to really build it and refine
Sure.
it and test it and pressure test it with people. And what I've been doing early in 2026 is then getting out, right? And starting to teach it, to talk about
Yeah.
it, to get in front of people with it. And what I see over and over when I have these conversations is that it builds on, there's a lot of organizations that have framework, right?
Sure.
Everybody has it, whether it's high performance, whether it's the way decision making is made, whatever it is, right? We all have these,
Hmm.
but whatever it is, it's such an amazing extension and a way to build. And I've heard leaders say so many times, like, oh, we've talked about this. We've talked about high performance 10 times. We've talked
Yeah.
about the decision making model 25 times. Like, what can we
Yeah.
build
How to
on?
get that done now.
And this is something where it's like you can bring it in and say, oh my gosh, and here's the one thing that I'll say as you were reading those, I loved how you,
Yeah.
the 5 pillars. And
Yeah.
in the center, when people go to the website and check it out, you'll see the graphic, but it's everything is centered in curiosity.
Ooh, I
That's
forgot
the
that part. Yeah.
anchor, right? And so the
Yeah.
anchor of all of this is curiosity.
Get
And we come
curious.
back to that of what if, right, is just curiosity in and of itself,
Yeah.
and the vulnerability to say, I may not have the answer, and what if I do these things, whether it is getting another perspective, whether it is
Mm-hmm.
committing to, you know what, I'm not going to freeze. I'm not going to
No.
freeze when I'm disrupted. I am going to look at it as an evolution, and I'm going to flex. I'm going to fly. And
Yeah.
those are kind of the points of differentiation. So yeah, I mean, as far as getting outsourcing, getting out there and scaling, and it's
Yeah.
happening. It's like it's
Good.
happening all right now, and I'm happy
Good.
to talk to you while it's all happening.
Yeah. As it grows. No, I love that. But you have an open mind about it because of these core pillows, Bonnie, pillars. Oh my God, the mouth. Um, I did tell you before that I do flub up some words, but my people know this about me. Anywho,
It's okay. I mean, and who can't use a
pillows.
good pillow at
Who
any
couldn't use
given
core
moment?
pillows?
So I mean, that's not a
Love it.
bad word to mess up, right? We can all,
These almost are like little soft pillows you can land on, each one
oh,
of them, right?
a
Because
100%.
I'm curious as to which ones resonate with people most when you share them out there.
Yeah. I think generally speaking, it is the belonging over performance. To me, that one resonates a lot. And I see people kind of spark over it because, especially in organizations, but in life too, right?
Yeah,
People just in life, we're all
sure.
so busy, whether you're talking about having your corporate job, you're running a household, you're
Yeah,
managing your kids' schedules, and there is this um in our society, and I really do see a shift, and I feel like we're moving away from this badge of honor of, being a workaholic
I
and
do all
and
the
burning
things.
it
Yeah,
on both ends, right?
yeah.
And but everything is so driven toward performance. How do we perform? What are your what is your revenue generating? What are you giving, right? What is the
Right.
ROI? All of these things, and it's important. We need to get
Sure.
there because companies, we need to pay the bills, whether you're a
Yeah.
corporation or how, I mean, you need it,
Right.
right? But if we back up and say what comes first, what makes the performance the best that it can be,
Yeah. What if
and
I got some
oh,
sleep?
what if I got some sleep, right? What if I cared
Yeah.
for myself, and that sense of belonging, of
Okay.
caring for each other as humans, and really being
Mm,
intentional about carving the time out to build trust, to
yes.
build connection. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
You're
when
my ideal
you
client, girl. I
oh,
wish
I
everybody
mean,
thought the same thing. It's building that trust and connection that I think like just sets you up for success immediately almost with whomever you're outsourcing or
yeah,
giving tasks to. Because I can speak from experience, almost 40 years of being an assistant of some sort. I always performed better for somebody that let me in,
yes,
got to know me. But I know that it does help as an entrepreneur now for me to take care of me. Because what if I do, right? What if I do? What if I don't? There's ramifications either way, or good
yes,
things that can happen if I do take care of myself. And I didn't think about that until probably
hmm,
the last 10 years. But it's important because there's that nasty thing called burnout. Um, and so
yeah,
it's about taking care of yourself to be a better leader. And
yeah.
better at delegating anything in your business if you're open and honest and taking care of yourself.
Absolutely. And I actually was on stage in front of it was probably a couple hundred people, like in a
Uh-huh.
business unit.
Sure.
And we were talking about this concept of that connection, of that belonging, and leaders doing that, and making sure people feel seen, right? The other thing I say all the time is, as humans, every one of us, everybody you meet wants to be seen, heard, and understood. And when
Yeah.
you take the moment, and when you say about self-care, it's hard to take those moments when you're not taking care of yourself because you feel
Mm.
so rushed and panicked all the time.
Yeah.
But when you take the time to take care of yourself, and you can take care of the others around you, whether it's your friends, your family, your team. I was talking from stage, and this woman raised her hand and she said, Brandi, I just have to tell you this in front of the room, right? She goes,
Yeah.
I need to tell you that the last time you spoke to us, we talked about this idea of being seen, of being understood, and letting people know know what you belong, right? You belong, we're connected.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she said, I want you to know my boss, who he's sitting at the table with them. She goes, you know what he did? We were having this conversation and he just paused. And he said, I want to make sure that you know I heard you.
Oh,
And I want to just tell you what I heard. And I just want you to know that I
nice.
heard you. So let's
Wow.
pause so that I can make sure. And she said, you know what? When he did that for me that day, and she goes, I don't think he knows until even I'm saying it right now, that made me so committed to him like
Wow.
you
Yeah.
paused instead of just, okay, what needs done? What are you
Yeah.
doing? Where's your
Go, go,
report?
go.
Where's this? I just want to pause and make sure that you know I heard you. And she's like, do you know what that means to me? And
Yeah.
I had chills from the stage and I thought, amazing, right? That's
Yeah.
what this work is
Freaking
about.
amazing. Yes.
And that team is going to perform for that leader in a way
Mm.
of like others won't, right? And so when I
Yeah.
get in front of especially teams and leaders, it's like, what's the secret? What is the secret to high performance? What's the
That's
secret
it.
to it? And that's it, right? I'm
That's
going to give
it.
it to you right here, right now. It's free.
I love that. So on the show here, we like to have you guys, my guests, drop golden nuggets of wisdom and tips and tricks right there. I'm going to mic drop that one for my
Do it.
video editor. Like, let's take that one because that is so important. And what an awesome dude. Where was he when I had bosses?
Where I thought the same thing. I've had plenty of good ones, but we've all had some bad ones too.
Yeah. I mean, I really struggled to have people or let them, have them bring me in, let me in, to where I could be a huge high performer.
Mhm.
But, I've grown from that, as I've done my own thing, and hopefully I'm that leader that I never had,
Yeah.
as someone I support when I supported. But that's amazing. I love that golden nugget. So I'm thinking I need a few more golden nuggets from you. So, I know that you're open to, as your business grows, you're open, I'm sure it feels like,
Yeah.
to finding people that enjoy and like to do all the bits and pieces in business as you grow and you're able. So what are some other tips and tricks you might say, to help the audience today think about where they're at and where they can go and how they can feel about, delegating or letting things go so that they can take
Yeah.
care of themselves and be better leaders?
Oh, Bonnie, I love this question. And you know what? I know I shared this with the first time you and I met.
Yeah,
I know I shared this with you, but I'm so compelled to share the story. And this
sure.
has to do with commitment over fear, right? If we're talking about the what if mindset and any of the pillars, but what if I don't have to know everything to move forward, right? So much of the time we think that we have to carry everything and we can't let things go. And I shared with you that in June, I went to Spain and hiked the
Yes.
Camino.
Yes.
And I have a problem. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I have a real problem
Mm,
of of letting things go. I want things to be perfect, and I
yeah.
want them to be my way, and I want to make sure I'm holding on to it. And I went to hike the Camino for a lot of reasons, none of which I thought were going to come back and resonate for work so much. It was really
Right.
a spiritual journey for me. It was
Sure.
a journey of kind of reconciling and grieving and doing some things. And so I went to Spain. And for those of you who don't know what the Camino is, do a little Google search after this, but it's a pilgrimage walk, essentially. And there are hiking trails across Europe, but every trail, every hike ends in Santiago in de Compostela, and it is with a tomb. It's a cathedral where St. James is buried. Every road leads there, so that is
Oh,
where you go. And but you can start hiking. Some people go hiking for weeks, months. Some people never leave the trail. It's an amazing phenomenon.
that'd
But
probably
here
be
it
me.
is, right? Is that I didn't really know what I was doing, but what I did know was that I was setting out on this hike. And for me, I did it for 7 days. I didn't have a ton of time to do it, But
Yeah.
here's the other thing is we always compare our journeys, right, with other people. What
Mhm.
about the person who's out there for 3 months? What about
Yeah.
the person who's out there for hiking 500 kilometers instead of 120 kilometers? Are they better than me? And the answer is it's your journey, right? This is your journey, and you can't
Yeah.
compare it to everybody else's. And
Oh,
that was one thing from the Camino that I learned. But I also learned about letting go and not holding things that we don't need to hold on to. And sometimes we bring ourselves almost to the point of destroying our health, our sanity before we can let it go.
right.
And so I was hiking, I was committed to having my backpack with me as I
Mhm.
hiked. And I did know that you could send your pack in the morning when you stop and sleep overnight. There is a
Mhm.
service that takes your pack and takes it to the next place you're
Amazing.
staying for you. But not
Yeah.
me. I didn't want to sign up for
I'm
that
carrying my
service
pack.
because I'm going to carry my pack with me. That's
I
what
might
I am
need
going to
something.
do. I might need something and I need to be in control of this pack. So
Yeah.
very quickly on day one, what I figured out, because I didn't really know what I was doing. All I know is that I'm following yellow arrows across Spain, and I start walking with this pack. And it was 22 kilometers the first day is what the hike was. And what I
Mhm.
was not prepared for was the terrain and how steep and how
Yikes.
unpredictable it was. And so I start
Ah,
hiking, and I soon realized this pack is extremely heavy for me to be carrying
yeah.
today and for the next 116 kilometers that I'm
Wow.
supposed to be
Yeah.
hiking. And so by the end of the day, I had 5 kilometers to go. You count down, you can see the kilometer markings
Uh-huh.
as you get closer to certain points. And I am telling you that I felt like I couldn't go on. And I had 5 kilometers, which is about 3 miles. You know, we all run a 5K or walk a
Yeah.
5K, right? But
Right.
it's about 3 miles. It was nearing the end of the day. It was taking me so much longer than it should have to walk because every step was so heavy and the
Oof.
steepness of the terrain was making my knees hurt. It was making my
Yeah.
ankles hurt.
Mm.
And Bonnie, when I tell you that I rounded this corner and I set my pack down on the side of this trail and I sat down and I just started crying. And I thought, I
Yeah.
can't go on anymore. I can't do this. And I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sitting here in the middle of Spain. Who do I think I am that I could carry this with me like this? But I know that
Mm.
I can't walk like this anymore. And I
Yeah.
don't know if you've ever had an experience where I swear I could hear a voice say to me, I'm sitting here crying on the side of a trail. And it was like, Brandi,
Ah.
cry. Go
Oh,
ahead
yeah.
and cry and let it
Mhm.
suck. Just let it
Yeah.
suck for right now. But you
Yeah.
know what you're going to do? You're going to get up because that's why you came here. You came here to prove that you can do more than you think you are able to do. And you're not going to walk 5 kilometers. You're going to
Mm.
walk a step. And then you're going to walk a
Ooh.
step. And then
Ooh.
you're going to walk a step. And so let it suck. And then dry your eyes and stand up and
These
walk a step.
analogies are just killing me. My head's
Right?
just going, this is so perfect.
So
Exactly.
I mean, as I sat there and I got up and I made it. I made it the 5 kilometers, not without thinking I was going to die,
Yay.
not without stopping 10
Ah,
times, every 30 minutes, but I
sure.
did it and I made it to my stop. I also found the strength to when I walked in where I was staying, I was like, where's dinner? Where's food at? I need to get something to eat. And then I think I can't do anything else. And of course he says to me, oh, you have to walk up that hill to a restaurant.
You're like, more.
I said, okay, this is a cruel joke, but I did. And I sat down at that restaurant and I happened to
Mm.
sit next to two Americans who also looked really worn out. And I started some small talk with them and we both looked at each other. And this woman looks at me and she said, do you feel like you're going to die? And I said, I do feel like I'm going to die. Do you feel that way too? And I said, the problem is I have this pack with me now. I have this 16-pound pack on my back that I am stuck with because I didn't make that arrangement for the courier. And she looks at me, her and her husband say, Brandi, go to the desk and ask them to transport it for €4. They will take it. You can do it right here. You don't have to have prearranged it, right? To
Mm-hmm.
go to the desk, tell them you want the service, put €4 in the envelope, and see your bag tomorrow. And I
Get her
looked at them
done.
and I said, are you kidding? Is it really? I did it. And I had freedom for €4, freedom of the weight. And I started out the next day and I couldn't help but think to myself, why do we carry so much when we don't have to? And if we just let it go, just lay
Yes.
down what you don't need to carry. And whether we do it out of pride, whether we do it out of obligation, whatever the reason is that we're doing it, is let it go, set it down, and let somebody else take it, and do that for yourself. And my walk was joyful the next
Yes,
day.
I imagine.
And so to me, I mean, that
Oh,
is something that I can share about the commitment, right? Like having the commitment to go on and to do what you started, to get
yeah.
the goals and get to the places you want to get to, but don't let the fear of what you can't do overcome you. Find a way to let those things
Mm,
go.
good
And
stuff.
I learned that on the Camino, and that letting the pack go was a moment
Mm,
for me that
yeah.
just
Ooh, let the
reinforced that.
pack go. That's what we're gonna call this episode.
Let the
Let
pack
the
go.
Camino pack go. I love it. Well, I didn't ever show you my little you were singing my favorite song, my little,
Let
Elsa
it
song, "Let
go.
It Go." I usually sing Let it go. But don't feel the pressure. If you like doing it, keep it. If you like carrying that pack, keep it. You always have options. There's always somebody that likes to carry packs. Right?
Do you know, one of my favorite things, I'm also a huge Peloton lover. I love my
Gotcha.
Peloton. And what
Mhm.
I love is there's one of my favorite instructors, and they always talk about inhale is what's serving you, exhale what is not serving you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so that is it, right? Is like, just let go what's not serving
Yeah. What doesn't
us.
bring you joy or
And
doesn't
so if it
yeah.
brings you joy to carry the pack, carry it. If it's
Carry
serving you,
the pack.
if it's not serving you, let it
If
go.
it's weighing you down and it's hurting your hips and your feet hurt because of that pack, let it go. Yeah. Oh,
Hmm.
that is so my vibe. I love that you are here telling us about this today because my head was just bursting going, oh, yeah, I see how that completely
Yeah.
applies to what we're talking about. Completely. Oh, wow. What wisdom. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Brandi, for being here today
Oh,
and
thank you.
sharing your story of the Camino. That is the best story I've heard so far that
Oh,
fits so well in this world.
you're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
It was, there's so many things. And, I always tell people, like, you don't have to go get on an airplane and go hike the Camino.
Right.
But when you take those moments to go for a walk in a place that you love, or
Mm,
go do an activity that brings you joy and brings you clarity, and even those moments where you allow yourself to be alone with
yeah,
yourself, because that's hard for so many of us.
it is.
All of those things matter. You don't have to do these big moments, right? They
Yeah,
don't
these
have to be big
bold
and
yeah,
grand.
exactly. You can get to that next side of the mountain with a little help from a friend, as the song goes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, I am going to share all of Brandy's information. The whatifcollective.com is where you can
Thank
check out her
you.
work. And I'll put all her fun links into the comments below. But let me know if some of this has resonated with any of you. And if you'd like me to get Brandi back on the show to talk a little more about this, because we could go on for hours together here. But you have a wonderful day, everybody. And Brandi, you bless you, my friend. I'm so
Thank
glad I
you,
met you.
Bonnie.
Thank you for being on the
Yes.
show. And
It's
you keep getting ready to prep yourself to delegate to elevate because you're going to get done, I swear.
Thank you. Thank
Same to
you.
everybody else. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.
So that's it for today's episode of Delegate to Elevate. Head on over to Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen and subscribe to the show. One lucky listener every single week that posts a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes will win a chance in the grand prize drawing to win a $15,000 private VIP day with Bonnie herself. Be sure to head on over to delegatetoelevatepodcast.com. That's with the number 2. And pick up a free copy of Bonnie's gift and join us on the next episode.